In this lesson, we are going to learn how to make a book. So we already learned how to get all the books, how to get a specific book by ID. Now it's time for us to create a new book object. We're going to do the post/book books endpoint, and for that, if you look at our data structure, we have a list of book objects right in our fake database, hard-coded data. So each book has an ID and a title. So when you want to create a new book, all you have to do is provide a title, right? The ID will be set automatically and given back to whoever creates the book. So in this case, this request has a body. And this body here is going to have the title of the book. And our backend or server is going to take this, insert into our list of books, and generate a new ID for that book. We're going to return back the book with an ID assigned to it. Okay? So let's get back to our code. We're at the JS, and let me just fold this guy. So we did the get/books. We did the get/books/book ID. Now it's time for us to do the app.post. So if you call post on the app, that's going to give you a post route. The path is /books. We're going to have our usual rec and res parameters for the arrow function here. Now we have a problem. How do we get the request body into our application here? To do that, we're gonna have to use a express middleware. Middleware is like a middleman between the incoming request and your defined route. So it's going to be intercepted, and we're going to get that request body and going to parse it into a JSON object in JavaScript, because the incoming data is in JSON format. It's just a string, right? So we have to JSON parse it into an actual JavaScript object so we can work with it. So to do that, typically before Express 4.16, you would use a body parser middleware. Now we can actually just do Express as a built-in JSON middleware. But just in case you want to use body parser, I'm just going to tell you how to do it quickly. So all you have to do is go to the terminal. Let me kill the server here. And you're going to have to install the package called body parser, like so. And then this is going to automatically save to my package.json because Node 8 already does that. If I look at package.json, we now have the body parser middleware 1.18.13 for Express. So the way to apply middleware in Express is before all the routes here, right after we do our Express app, we're going to use the use method on the app. That's going to allow you to use a middleware. So all you have to do is you're going to have to use the body parser middleware. So first let's require the middleware right at the top. Let's call it body parser and require body dash parser. And then finally here you just call body parser.json and you call it as a method. This will apply the middleware. So every time it goes to your server, it's going to go through body parser to see if it has to parse anything from JSON to an actual JavaScript object or list, and that's going to create a property called body in the rec object. So you're gonna have this rack.body property. Okay, so to illustrate it, we're gonna do a rest send the rack.body. Okay, just send it back when you go do a post / books. So this is where the body of the request is gonna be, because we're using body parser. So let's save it. If you don't use body parser, by the way, you're gonna get this guy. You're gonna get undefined. Let's go to the Postman application here. So let's change the verb to post and /books. Now to send a body in this request, to include a body, you click on body here. Instead of form data, let's use the raw option with the JSON instead of text. So we have application /JSON. So create a JSON. So what do we need to create a new book? We need a title. So create a new property called title. Let's call it the awesome book, like so. And then you click send. Now I forgot to start my server. I'm sorry. Let's use npx node app.js again. Going back to the Postman application, send. Okay, so we got back the same thing we sent. So that's good. So rack.body actually contains the body of the request. So that's what we learned. And just so you can actually see that body parser is needed, I am going to comment this line and see what we get. Back to Postman, send, nothing comes as a response because the rect.body is undefined. Okay, so that's all. Now in Express 4.16 there's a new built-in middleware to parse the JSON, so I'm going to comment out body parser, and instead here I'm going to duplicate this line and I'm going to just use the built-in case you don't want to include an external library, external third-party app module that is body parser. So you can just say express. Remember we required express.json here, like so, and it's going to do pretty much the same thing for us. Let's try it. Go to Postman, send it, and there you go. You got back the awesome book. Great. Now that we learn how to parse the request body, it's time for us to implement our actual creation of the data. So let's go to book.js and let's create a new method. So this new method is going to be called create. And what create is going to do is simply create a new book and insert it into this existing list of books. Mind you that we have to figure out the last ID so we can increment it. So the next guy is going to have ID 4, right? So the create method needs to take what? Take the actual book object with the title. So let's add the book parameter. So books is going to contain something like this, okay? So first, what we have to do is simply push to this array, but we have to add an ID to the new record. So let's just do a simple books dot push with an object. We're going to push an object that has ID and a title. A title is going to come from the actual parameter, right? Now what's the ID? We need to